Hello, how y'all doing? Is life unscripted for you? See if we can get this. Hope you guys are doing well. This is July 10th. Look at the date. See, July 10th, Thursday, July 10th. So it's been a minute since I did this type video, but we've been talking about man, and we're going to conclude that today. I'm gonna do just a little chat summary and then lead into where we're going. Because where we're going, I've been really excited for. I've been taking my time and really looking at this and just spending some time with God, so He helped me understand a little bit more what needs to be said. Because, like I said before, we don't do this for entertainment. We don't do this for likes or anything like that, but we do appreciate your likes. We do appreciate you subscribing to make sure that you're notified. And you got to hit that notification button, I think, or something like that. But we do this because it's in our heart. I've been led to do this for quite some time. Those of you who follow me on other platforms for a while. But I'm serious about this topic of men, and I hope that it has really helped you guys. I know it's helped me on this journey to be more understanding and the more importance and intentional about being a man and his responsibilities. Such responsibilities we talk about as being a leadership and knowing that you have to follow before you can lead. And know that it takes a great follower to be a successful leader, which we're not always taught that, and we're not always taught how to do that. Just being a great listener as well, and most of all, more importantly, getting before God, spending some time with Him so He lets us know who we are, knowing our purpose, okay? Knowing our purpose, because that purpose gives worth to who we are. See, when a lot of times we look at folks going around doing certain things and men doing things and even young men doing things because they really don't know their purpose. So by them not knowing their purpose, I remember when I didn't know my purpose, the value of your life is not as high as it need to be. So knowing your purpose is important. How do we find out our purpose? Well, we got to go to the Creator, God, right? We got to go to the Creator, spend time with Him, meditate, pray, and then listen. Not however long it takes, but listen and understand. So He tells you about yourself. See, this world try to tell you about yourself, but it can't. It can only tell you what it wants you to know and what it wants you to hear. So you really want to spend some time with God, listening to what He has to say. So I believe I've gotten better, understanding who I am, and then understanding, that I mean something to God. I mean something to Him, that I carry the very life inside of me every step I take. Every step I take, there's life inside of me that's absorbing what I do, what I say, how I move, my thoughts, and everything else. And it's able to produce out of me life. Man, that's awesome. Fellas, when you think about it, that's awesome. That's a great responsibility. So listen, I have enjoyed this journey, just talking about the great man. I hope you guys have really got some nuggets from that. Now we're going to transition to the great man. See, once we spend time with God, once we actually submit ourselves, right, into understanding that there's a creator, understanding that there's something greater than us, and we spend that time, we come to realize that we really need to get to know our big brother, Jesus. We really get to know the person of Jesus Christ, who actually walked this earth, who actually walked the walk that we're attempting to walk, who actually moved upon this earth in a way that was pleasing to our Father. So we're going to talk about Him. We're going to get into Him, some of His thoughts, some of His ways. And see, this is the thing we're going to talk about right now, just to start this off, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding when we talk about Jesus. Okay, there's a lot of misunderstanding, I feel, from us as a people of who He is. So I'm going to read this scripture, these verses here in the book of Luke, chapter 2, just to kind of give us a little foundation, a segment of what we're going to be talking about over the next couple of sessions, I guess you could say, or videos. So I hope you guys tune in and get something from this. So let me read, without further ado. You know, I'm not trying to get before you guys too long. No attention span. But check it out. Luke chapter 2, right? I'm going to start reading, I guess, verse 46. So just to give a understanding of this, you know, they're going, Jesus is going with his parents, with the other group of people who is going to Jerusalem. Okay, and they've spent their time. They've done what they had to do. They're at Jerusalem and now. They're actually journeying back. Okay, so in verse 46, and then they realize that he's not with them. Okay, and they're going to go searching for him. Okay. Okay. Well, let me not do all that. Let me start reading in verse 43. Okay. So we don't have to do that. This is Luke chapter 2, verse 43. This is the King James version. You guys know I like the King James version. Here we go. And when they had fulfilled the days, as they returned, the child Jesus tarried behind in Jerusalem. And Joseph and his mother knew not of it. Verse 44. But they supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey. Okay, went a whole day, didn't see him. And they saw him among their kinsfolks and acquaintances. They figured he was with some family or something that day. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. Verse 48. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. Verse 49. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Was ye not that I must be about my father's business? It's Jesus talking. Verse 50 says, And they understood not the saying which he spoke unto them. Verse 51. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was subject unto them. But his mother kept all these sayings in her heart. Verse 52. And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God. So what we tend to do is forget, or maybe not even understand or know, the humanity of Jesus. See, he was man. We see him as this glorified Lord, Messiah, but we tend to forget that he is a man. He was a man, just like you and I. Just like you and I. How do I know that? Why you say that, Brother Mike? Well, I say that because it says simply, even though he had an idea knowing who he was, as a child of the Father, as someone with a purpose, his parents did not know. And guess what? They chastised him for what he did. Not only that, he was subject unto them. And this is very key here. It says that in verse 52, and Jesus increased in wisdom. He had to increase, he had to understand. He had to know. He had to learn, just like we do. Okay? He increased in wisdom and stature, his positioning, his posture, the way the individuals looked at him for what he understood and know and the things he spoke. Okay? And in favor with God, just like we have to. No different. And in favor of God, but this was it, and with man. And with man. So he understand this, although he was knowing who he was, although the Father of God knew that was his son, he still had to grow, just as we have to grow. He still had to go through all these things that he went through, even being subject to his parents and anything else regarding society that we do. Okay, so when you look at being a man, you can say also being a child of God, but we're talking about men. Being a man, what better person than to look at, examine, discuss, and talk about than the person of Jesus Christ? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to attempt to do that, get a more understanding of that. I hope you guys stay with me on this journey as we just examine the best man or greatest man that ever walked this earth, period. We're going to talk about him. We're going to examine him, the things that he felt, the things that he experienced, and in them, his response, okay? And in them, get an understanding that, guess what? If he did it, we can do it too. We can be that man too. So listen, stay with us. Hey, go through these scriptures. Go through that account in Luke, and I believe you'll see exactly what I see. That even as a young boy, he was a man child, and he had to grow. He had to mature. He had to go through the same things that we had to go through, or that we had to go through, that we need to go through, right? Or that we do go through to grow in God. Okay, so listen, I want to thank you guys. Like, share, subscribe, all those other good things if you like. Appreciate you. All you guys who checked out my previous videos, I want to appreciate you. All you guys who have subscribed, I want to appreciate you. Well, guys and gals. This is what we're doing. So stay with us. Appreciate you. I want to thank you guys for joining me. All right, peace.